All right, here it is. Significant figures or SigFigs. There's someone who does graffiti art around town. They write SigFigs, and I'm not sure what that's about. At any rate, significant figures, you got a couple of rules and a couple of different ways in which a question would be asked. First, we're going to talk about whether or not a number is significant. Your rule is a non-zero digit is significant. So basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are all significant digits. Now, the big question is zeros. When are zeros significant? And the question is, are they significant? Well, there are some instances where they are, and there are some instances where they're not. A zero is significant if it follows a decimal. Another way to look at that is it's to the right of a decimal. So what that means is that if a zero does not follow, but instead comes before or is to the left of a decimal, it is not significant. So another instance is whenever it is sandwiched between non-zero digits. So basically, some examples are 404. How many significant figures is this? 3. There are 3 significant figures here. This 0 is between both of those 4s. It must be there. If you removed that, are you talking about 404? No, you're talking about 44. So this is significant. Now, one way to look at whether or not a 0 is significant, and the way that I always try to think about it is, if a 0 is to the left, it is not significant. So if you see something like this, 00404, are these 2 zeros necessary? No, they don't give you any essential information about your number. Your number is 404. It's not 404. Instead, it is 404. So these are, I'm going to label it as NS or not significant. This 0 remains significant, which I'm just going to denote as S. So as a general rule, if a 0 is to the left, it is not significant. Now, if a 0 is to the right, or on the right-hand side of a number, that is going to be significant. So to illustrate that, let's say that you have the number 301,400.00. This is almost like someone saying, listen, I owe you $301,400.00. They are certain. They are not going to pay you any extra penny than this. So they are done. They don't owe you a cent beyond that. Compare that to, and so what that means is all of these zeros are significant because they are certain. There is precision with those numbers. Compare that to someone who says, listen, I owe you $301,400. There's some wiggle room right there because this number right here does not include a decimal. If they said, listen, I owe you exactly $301,400, I don't know about cents, they would say this. They are precise that it is not 301,401. When they put that decimal there, they are certain that this number right here in that ones position is true, is precise, is accurate. Without that decimal position or without that decimal right there, there is some uncertainty about that number. So when you see a decimal, think about that as confirmation that that number is true. Well, if you don't see a decimal place, that 0 near that where that decimal could be has a little bit of uncertainty. Okay, so that gets at whether or not a zero is significant. Another instance, and this is a little bit tricky, but if you see a number like this, 0.00410, this is tricky because there's actually only one significant zero, and that's this one right here. These two zeros to the left of my non-zero digit, even though they are to the right of a decimal place, these are not precise, because this number can be rewritten with scientific notation to be 4.10 times 10 to the negative 1, 2, 3, negative third position. So not significant, not significant. Are they relevant? Are they important? Yes, but they are not significant. This zero, our zero to the right, is our only significant zero. All right, well, I hope that was helpful look at classifying a zero as being significant or non-significant.